Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, welcome. If you've been here before, welcome back. This is day one, Vlogmas. I've always wanted to kind of do it, and I know this is going to be uploaded on the 2nd. It's not exactly the 1st, it's just gone midnight. But as you can see, Advent calendar has been bought, so we are in the Christmas festive spirit. But I wasn't really sure, how much of a vlog this was going to be. I think it was more just don't get me wrong, some of the videos coming up are going to be probably. For example, this weekend I'll be going to North Wales and I'll be going up to Portmeirion. I think there's a food festival or something going on, so I'm going to go check that out. So there'll be snippets of that, and obviously the build up to Christmas and doing some shopping and what have you. But this year is very, very different, and I just wanted to sort of maybe touch upon that this year. Obviously, as you know, this channel has been about a rebuild. I've not done a very good job at sort of going through and updating over the past few months, I suppose, just because life has been a bit hectic. I'm back into the routine of Wales and stuff, but I wanted to make this video in particular off the whim of a conversation I had this evening. I was having a chat with one of the lads at the gym, and it was all surrounding sort of mental health and a few other things, because I was in the cold plunge, and then I was going into the sauna and the steam, and obviously I train and what have you, and we just got into the conversation about, especially this time of year, men sort of don't talk about things, and I'd like to think of myself as a very good listener, coming from sort of personal training days, but also just in general. I'm very inquisitive and I like to ask questions once I've been listening for a while. So just on the back of this conversation, if you are struggling, a few things that have been key for me this year. I know this is not very Christmassy vloggy. That's probably the most Christmassy thing, because I got onto the conversation of this time last year I was in the US, right? And this time last year I was leaving to go back to the US, and I was sort of on the bus heading to Heathrow, and I was kind of thinking about what's going on in my head right now as I go back to the US and I make the decision that I know that I eventually did make, right? And how much of Wales and stuff that I'm going to miss. But on the flip side of that, there's the whole element of the US aspect that I'm going to miss as well. Just my dog, my friends, my rugby family, I was going to go on to say then. And sort of a few lifestyle sort of aspects of life in the US, and sort of coming home and adjusting to that, and how moving into this year of 2025, sort of how my head is, how I've got over that and how I've dealt with it. And I haven't fully, there's still elements that I haven't fully dealt with, and I don't think I ever will. And the main one is my dog, to be fair. That has been very difficult, especially around this time of year. So I really wanted to just make this video just sort of a little reminder, a few key things that you can do if you're struggling a little bit. Obviously the rise of the cold plunge right now, for example, why are people doing it from a mental health standpoint? And I think that one of the main benefits from a mental health standpoint is obviously a few health benefits associated with the cold plunge, but the main health benefit from a mental standpoint is that when you get in that ice bath, you really, really can't be thinking about other things. So it's not necessarily a suppression of thoughts, but it makes you think less of other stuff, right? So that when you're in it, all you can think about is the breath work, and that it's actually freezing cold. So that's one element of things that we can do. Obviously talking about it is key. And I was having a chat, and he was like, "Oh, are you a therapist?" I was like, "No, I've just been through it and I've done it." You know what I mean? This this past year, I came to terms with moving back to Wales. I came to terms with sort of the aspect and the life that I gave up, you know, the quote unquote American dream that I had, giving up, you know, a house, my truck, my dog, not necessarily giving them up, but like saying goodbye, right? It's not giving them up, it's saying goodbye, and sort of coming to terms with all that. So this is really, it's part of the rebuild, but it's also just a vlog a day that I'm trying to put out. And like I said, some of it's going to be me just sitting in front of the camera talking, some of it's going to be actual vlogging. You know, like tomorrow I have university, for example. Maybe I'll show snippets of that, and obviously training, and make it a bit more vloggy. But yeah, on this sort of day one, I just wanted to, like, a little recap. And then obviously the conversation that I had spurred the topic here. And I think it's just important that we understand that, like, it isn't always easy. There are going to be days where you have those thoughts and you're like, oh, fuck, it's shit. But it isn't, right? If that's, like, obviously I can only speak from my experience, but like there's going to be times in life where it does get hard, right? Life is going to be hard at times, and it's just how you deal with those. And for me, like, the past year have been probably the hardest of my life. Moving from the US back to Wales, readjusting and trying to fit back into life. And I think for me, it's kind of weird because sometimes I get, like, it's not necessarily flashbacks, but like, for example, all of a sudden I'm liking country music, even though when I lived in the US, very rarely did I listen to country music because it was on like 90% of the radio stations that I had. Obviously 9 times out of 10 I'd be listening to Apple Music anyway. But if I was listening to the radio, it'd be country music, and then I'd switch it off because I heard it too much. So, but like the other day, my phone randomly started playing country music, and I was like, oh, it's actually not so bad. And just a few other little bits and pieces that, you know, crop up here and there where I'm like, oh, did I actually live that life, or did I make it up in my head? Obviously, I know that's not the reality. The reality is that, yes, I did spend 6 years living in the US, and it has formed sort of my experiences in my adult life. So trying to fit back in now to adult life in Wales and in the UK is kind of been difficult. But we are moving through the processes. We're back in a routine. So yeah, I just wanted to sort of put that out there for vlog one, I suppose. I bought some batteries this evening because one of the things in the US in particular over the past few years is that I would actually gain weight over Christmas and I would struggle to lose it on the back end. But this year I'm adamant that that is not going to happen, especially now that I'm back in Wales. And well, something just popped in my head then. I'm trying to remember. Oh yeah, I did pop to Asda earlier. So here's that. So I picked up some batteries. Oh yeah, I picked up some batteries because my digital scales, which I'll show you in the morning actually, because I'm going to film that, ran out of batteries. And annoyingly, in the US, I had the exact same scales, but the scales I had in the US were rechargeable. So I had to buy some new batteries so that I could get up and running with that on the flip side as well. So yeah, anyway, there's a little bit of a ramble. Did train this evening. This is more, like I said, it's just going to be more of a video journal just to make sure that I can put out the content and that I'm consistently doing it. So if this resonated with you in any way, shape or form, happy days. If it didn't, it's okay. But yeah, just be wary, especially this time of year, the mental health, and make sure you look after yourself and you put, you know, your space first as well. I feel like a lot of times men in particular will do everything they can for everybody else except themselves. So make sure you're taking care of your mental health. Make sure you're taking care of your physical health. And yeah, Vlogmas journal, diary, episode 1. There is going to be longer form content as well mixed in, because I am going to get back on the YouTube game. I did focus a little bit on my rugby podcast the past couple of weeks. And like I said, I haven't really uploaded a bulkier video, sort of like an emotionally in-depth one. So that will come. That will come. Anyway, get yourself an advent calendar. Open up day 1 or day 2 if you get one tomorrow. Cup of tea in my Yeti mug. Well, it's not a Yeti mug, is it? It's a flask. I do have a mug somewhere. It's downstairs. Anyway, I'm going to game for half hour. Edit this. Doesn't really need much editing. And yeah. See you tomorrow.